And then I pull up my notes because I can't do anything without my notes. Welcome, my friends. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg. This is Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader Tithes of Acheron. This is episode 1 of Segmentum First Into the Maw. And with me are, of course, my wonderful Grimdark players, Rodance, Alturius, Warner, and Rev. We're going to check in with them briefly, very briefly, and we're going to talk about what kind of characters they're playing. We'll start with, of course, Rodance, because I always start with Rodance whenever she's on the screen. So,
Sure.
Rodance, tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, I have a astropath transcendent who goes by the name of Winter. She has um gone through a whole lot of bit of junk since she's gotten off of her initial founding planet land. So, her most recent problems that she's dealt with is she was on a pirate ship and kind of cut her arm off to get away.
Where is your
uh
character on the table, by the way? I'm trying to find it. Oh, nope, that's not you. So, I know
yeah,
it's totally
so
interrupted,
I
but
think she was press ganged on the same ship with Alterios. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what I have written down here. Before that, she kind of fell off the party line and kind of went a little renegade. The Adeptus Arbitraries really don't like her right now, but
oh, there
she's
she
good
is.
at resisting interrogations somehow. That was a great skill to learn. Not like it was lovely or all at all. She came down through an Imperial homeworld, child of the Creed, raised into the Astropath Transcendent land. She was one of the very few psychers who got to actually be trained instead of fed to the Astronomicon, so that was a big plus. She also kind of had her eyes burnt out through the whole process, but that's pretty typical.
Yeah, that's normal for the whole soul binding.
Yeah, it's pretty normal for poor Astropath Transcendence.
And
So,
then, oops, wrong button.
oh, and the arm she cut off was her right arm, and she now has a bionic replacement, courtesy of the Rogue Trader group she joined.
Yeah. All right. Apologies for anybody watching the stream as I mashed all of the wrong buttons to switch over to the tabletop view. We have here. This is Rodance's character. Let me get it into a better view here. Let's actually zoom in a bit. Yeah, there you go. That is Winter, the uh, Astropath Transcendent, as rendered in Hero Forge, and it looks pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Let's move on to, let's see who's next on Zoom. Alturios, the player
Hi.
of Icarus. Why don't
Uh,
you tell us a
so
little bit about your character? As I
Icarus was born on a forge world, and as such didn't have much stock in the ecclesiarchy or the imperial creed, but was pushed towards um, reverence to the Omnissiah. He kind of spent most of his life growing up as sort of a kind of a ne'er-do-well, kind of just getting by. Ended up being press ganged onto the same ship as Rodance. Um, the two managed to kind of help each other escape after she lost her arm.
yeah
And he joined up with the Mechanicus at some point in his life. He was slightly too much of a free thinker and never really got too well along with any of the others, and they quietly slipped him onto a rogue trader ship to be rid of him without having to actually do anything.
yes, because he is a faithful servant of the Omnissiah. He just doesn't really sit well with this particular group of AdMech people.
Mm-mm.
Also, unfortunately, Hero Forge does not give us the opportunity to add your oh god, I know that mechadendrites. Uh,
Yeah,
but just imagine that. How many mechadendrites did you start with? I think it's two, or one maybe. I don't remember.
I on my sheet it doesn't say I have any yet.
Oh, you don't actually have it. Okay, well then I stand corrected. Where is my arch militant? Let's see him. That's not him.
Right here.
Where are you?
I'm
Ah,
waving
yes.
him around.
Yes, I see now. Warner Raddick, who also goes by the name of, I don't know, something about a hill and going there and doing things once you're there. I don't remember. But also goes by Warner Raddick on some servers. He is our arch militant, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his character, Reinhardt Vander something or other that I don't remember. Oh, Vander Amalungen.
Reinhardt der Amalungen.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, let me actually switch the camera over to that. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about your guy.
So Reinhardt was born on the fortress world of Boros Prime, heavily fortified and staunchly defended thanks to the strategic value of stable wormholes linking directly to the warp thereabouts. He was born for war, he was bred for war, he was trained for war.
And lives for money. No, I'm sorry.
He decided that, maybe instead of, dying for some greater cause, he'd start off by, making some money with his propensity for violence. So he joined a security force, quote unquote. It was probably actually just a gang that had the good, nature to be working for someone official. But eventually he saw how the ugly side of the Imperium treated people, even when, and especially when, there were external threats everywhere, which made him temporarily insane enough to wish for some sort of higher purpose, after which he went off on crusade, signed up for the Baelor Crusade to scour the orcs off Baelor. And it was a long lot of fighting.
as it usually is when orcs are involved.
Usually is.
Baelor, that's the planet the Cardassians invaded, isn't it?
Very good. And then
Well, there's also like Baelor Sept and a few other Baelor references from Game of Thrones, but I digress.
yes. And the Baelors from D&D, of course.
And the Baylor Bears. Go Texas.
Okay. All right, calm down, Texas. We'll get to you in a minute.
So anyway, then some nasty hidden cultists were aboard his troop transport and sabotaged the Geller field of his ship.
Those dirty bastards.
And things got real. It was only a small Geller failure, thankfully, not a full one. The shield only flickered, and the Vassal's engine sear restored the field to stability at about 60% power. But even though that would keep more things from manifesting, it didn't do anything to banish what had already gotten through. So he got into trouble with some daemon things. And a rogue trader happened to be nearby and helped orchestrate a rescue mission. He was one of the very few survivors of the whole misfortune, but his actions during that escapade got the rogue trader's attention, and he managed to use some of his influence to get Reinhardt an honorable discharge from the guard and a letter of recommendation for his current rogue trader crew. After which he went to the Koronus Expanse to seek glory and a great legacy for himself.
Or at least, that's the plan until he gets eaten on by like several pink horrors that turn blue when you kill him.
His hope is to retire on a world of his own, preferably a pleasure world, and live fat and happy, surrounded by beautiful women. Because a man has to have goals.
Yes, you can have those goals, but the Emperor is generally not a fan.
Yeah, well, you have to have something to look forward to, yeah?
Yes. Well, since the Rogue Trader has come up a few hundred times already, and it is, of course, the game we're playing, let's actually talk to Rev and have him tell us a brief bit about his character who has a ridiculously long name, and we're all just going to call him Bro.
Bro Cephas.
Salutations, I am Borgadillo Van Breeze Gisbeth III, first of Avalon, defender of the Order of St. Drusus, and recipient of the Calixus Star.
By the way, that was
Okay,
it was a
bougie.
star made out of aluminum foil that they gave to him when he was a 2-year-old. Don't let him fool you.
I was born into privilege and pedigree, better than most of these lowly miscreants. I was born to lead with superior genetics. I've been honed in the fires of cutthroat politics, and I have a wary eye.
Which is why it's a red cybernetic augmentic. All right, let me stop talking shit and actually get into the actual game that we're gonna play here. So, we don't have a previously because, well, this is our first episode. So, let me get to the right section of my notes. Give me just a quick second here. My notes I actually put together like, I don't know, freaking a week and a half or so ago for this, and it didn't happen. And now, here we are. At the uttermost edge of the Calixus sector, just beyond the Drusus marches, upon the shores of the twin warp storms collectively called the Maw, a gray haven bastion casting dim, shadowy light into the void, lies your destination at the end of months of travel, Port Wander. The void ship Emerine Stone, the final transitor of your long journey, slowly slips into one of the countless docking berths lining the outer circular hull of the massive station. I just realized I'm on the wrong channel. There we go. Let's see, where am I? This is the last bastion of the rule of the God Emperor this side of the Koronus Expanse. It is a place of desperate hopes and vain dreams. It teems with a transitory population of traders, spies, merchant factors, pilgrims, and missionaries, amongst which move administratum functionaries and minions of the Mechanicus, all feeding on the riches that flow from the realms beyond the warp storms in the Koronus Expanse. All who travel into the Expanse share one common experience, in that they pass through Port Wander. Whether they seek to spread the light of the Emperor, or if they be dark-hearted monsters or madmen searching for the keys to forbidden dreams, all will step in the last place where the rule of the Golden Throne keeps the horror of the unknown at bay. Weeks and months ago, you lived your previous lives, barely cognizant of the fact that this day may come. Today it is here, and you with it, upon the threshold of the Maw. And tomorrow, how will you brave the Expanse, and what will you seek? At this point, you guys are now preparing to depart the ship. There are docking tunnels connecting the Emerine Stone and Port Wander, and it will lead you into the dockyards. Brocephus, Brogulio, I'm never going to get your name right. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It is such a weird name for me.
Come now. It's Borgadillo.
Sure.
Borgadillo.
Borgadillo.
Yeah, I'm just going to call you Bougie for short.
Well, you got to throw a Lord Captain in there every now and again.
Lord Captain Bougie.
Borgulio, when you arrive at what you could otherwise consider to be the disembarkation point aboard the ship, you know, as you're basically about to cross that imaginary line between ship and station, the captain of the vessel, Jarian Ogina, is waiting with a small collection of an honor guard.
Oh, you can pronounce that.
Well, yeah, it's significantly shorter. He is standing with his honor guard and a data slate at this little breezeway connection. I don't know why I said breezeway, because obviously we're in deep space, but you get the idea. Did I make a copy? Did I make an image of... I thought maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Give me a second here. Oh, yes, I did. That is not actually the one I want. Well, no, that'll work. Excuse me, that'll work.
Load image failed.
Son of a... Are you serious? I mean,
Serious.
obviously you're serious, but I don't know why that's not working. How about this one? Does this one show up for you guys?
Also, load image
Nope.
failed. It says unsupported format.
Mother of God. Okay.
Is it
well,
possible?
It says JPEGs, PNGs, and some other stuff were supported.
Omar, just curious.
Yeah.
Was your Steam up and running when you started the thing, or did you have to fire up Steam?
Oh, when I started Tabletop Simulator, you know what? I mean, Steam is always running. Let me see what it does when I click that button. You know what? I will unfuck that later. On with the show. For the viewers, because it works on my computer.
If you have an image, could you post it on Discord?
If you give me a moment or two, don't move anything. I forgot I saved these objects as being locked in place, so I gotta reposition them correctly. Then lock them. Because you have to lock everything down when Rev is around.
What? Why?
Really? You're really gonna ask me that question?
Any disturbances I might have caused in the past were purely accidental.
No, they are not. Alright. Give me a second, viewers at home. I need to post some images in the channel for these crazies. Creator, upload files, and then I remember where I saved them. Let's see, there's my Warhammer 40k folder, my Rogue Trader folder, my Rogue Trader Tithes of Acheron folder, my images folder, and so now we do. And send. Alright, there you go. There's the images in Discord for you guys. And for the viewers, let me switch over to the table so you can see what I'm talking about. So, oops. We have this as a nifty little view of what it might look like, say, from the bridge of a ship as you're pulling into the docking slots or bays or what have you. Hello, Hashin. Thank you for popping in. And then we have a nice little map key of the entire station of Port Wander. Kind of a generic idea of where various major sections of the Void Station could be found. So, let's get back over that, and let's get back to my notacios. Yeah, so Borgoldio. There is the captain of this transit ship.
Borgudio, sir.
Borgoldio. Whatever. Anyway, Lord Captain, the Rogue Trader one. The other captain, the not Rogue Trader one, is standing there with a data slate and an honor guard. And he's, like, waiting for you to approach.
I'm coming from a... What am I debarking from?
You're debarking from the ship to the station. I do apologize. There was one small thing that I didn't quite clearly address. This ship has taken you here with the intent of, once the Rogue Trader and his crew arrive, you have a point of contact, Marcellus Thule. No, sorry, Marcellus Thale. He will be getting you aboard your own personal vessel, the Acheron ferry.
So I'm on board a transport ship, that's what I was asking.
That is correct, sir.
How were my accommodations?
Probably the best that this captain could offer, short of giving you his... Actually, he probably did give you his own personal quarters, which were the best of the ship. This, but it's also just a relatively low-grade transit ship.
So clearly insufficient for one of my stature.
But it's the effort that was made. He's actually held a captain's mess a number of times with you as the guest of honor. Whether or not you choose to, how you choose to interact with him based on that information is entirely up to you. But he has certainly done his right best to, accommodate you and to, on some level, suck up to you.
I keep my disgust thinly hidden then.
That would probably be best. Manners being what they are.
And who am I walking towards?
This is Captain Jarian Ovina. He is standing with the data slate in an honor guard. I didn't even come up with a physical description for him because he's such a low-level guy.
Okay, I see the honor guard. Is he trying to get my attention?
Yes.
So this is a
He's sending you
peon
off.
this is a peon with a sign at the airport.
No.
Yes.
No, this is the captain of the ship you've been on.
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm at the docking bay and there's an honor guard with a guy there waiting.
Right. Well, the captain is waiting for you as you're leaving his ship,
Ah,
and this
Fair
is
enough.
his chance to say, goodbye, etc. And he has a data slate, but he looks like he wants
Oh,
to give it to you.
Spoogie.
ah.
I think he wants to make a good impression on you.
Yeah, let me check. Let me see my notes. What if I don't think I had anything else specifically
So,
planned for you
I just want to
guys.
make sure. Because I thought this was a greeting party, not the captain's farewell party.
This is a farewell party.
Yes, yeah, that's probably
Okay.
more accurate.
Okay,
To clarify, one more small thing. I do apologize because my brain. It's been a very long day. Reinhardt, you are with the Lord Captain. Winter, you were given orders to this ship long ago, weeks now. Whatever. You were sent out here to serve House Van Breeze and Borguldio in particular.
Borguldio.
I'm never gonna get it right. You know
Think
that.
think of it like you would pronounce a Spanish word, my friend.
Borguldio. It's Italian. I feel like it's more Italian than Spanish, but anyway. Winter, it's up to you if you are with the Lord Captain and his arch militant. But Icarus, you are already in the dockyard. In fact, you may have been sent by Thale to meet the Lord Captain and make sure he makes it to your ship.
So I guess I would be with probably Altarios' character then. Because I would have stuck with him if we both. I'm basically following his character around for now because we both got off
We can do it. Yeah. Okay. So if you guys you're basically insinuating that since
Because
the
the most
impressing,
recent event, I think, in our in our shared history, is that, and then we joined this group for the Rogue Traders. So it makes sense that we'd stick together unless otherwise ordered for now.
Okay. So
And
real
that's
fast
how
for
I see
you
it.
two, you know of Marcellus Thale. You have not yet actually met him face to face.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just for clarification for me and Warner, there's no way that my character wouldn't pass up on having a heavily armed and armored individual at his side.
No, probably not.
For appearance's sake.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and I'm assuming Warner would be aware there would be financial gain for his looking tough and mean.
I mean, that's something that we can always hand wave.
Well, I'm saying this above board so that
yeah.
Warner can either agree or disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can forego the friendliness and be the German with the intimidation when you require it.
I don't know if they have Germans in 40,000 in the 41st.
Of course they do.
It's
Gothic.
There you go.
Commissars, so I'm pretty sure they.
Well,
probably
commissar's
have
more of a
too.
duty
I know.
thing than a. Anyway, I'm just being
the
funny
role
too.
of commissar is actually more of a traditionally Russian one.
But same point stands. There's some random oddball groups around.
No, that's
now,
okay.
Warner, I apologize. In real life, I'm terrible with names. Your character's first name is
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt. That's what I thought. I just wanted to.
If you hover over his little model.
Yes, I have too many things up to look at the models right now. Also, I'm seeing a series of white cubes on the table right now.
Okay.
His model is a rather generous description.
Yeah, unfortunately,
So
for
is
whatever reason.
Icarios your first name, your last name, or your complete name?
Icarus. Let me check my fucking sheet because I forgot.
I think all I know is you have Icarus on there, but I haven't looked at it.
His last name is Waxwings, but he doesn't talk about it.
My last name is a Pistos.
So Icarus or Icaros?
You can
because it's spelled like Icaros.
I actually like Icaros personally better,
Icaros.
but that's my opinion. You don't have to live with that.
Icaros Epistos.
Icaros.
Icaros is my
Icaros.
friend.
I gotta remember
Epistos.
it. I gotta remember.
My character has one name, and that is Winter.
Yeah.
She probably was assigned it after she went through Astropath Transcendent Land and had my eyes burned out.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so as you come closer, because I imagine there's a number of people that are leaving the ship for one reason or another, whether they were passengers or their ship's crew going about business. The rogue trader is approaching, and as he gets a little bit closer, you see Captain Ovina kind of step forward. The honor guard snaps to attention, and he gives you whatever the traditional greeting of the day or what have you would be, and says, "Lord Captain, it has been an honor to convey you to Port Wander. If there is ever anything that I or my ship and crew could do for you in the future, please do not hesitate to ask, my lord."
Yes, the trip aboard your ship was memorable. I I will endeavor never to forget it.
Indeed, your words are very kind, and we deeply appreciate it. He then offers you the data slate that he's carrying, and he says, "My lord, we wish you, on behalf of the crew, our best wishes on your future endeavors, and one last time, our condolences on the passing of your mother."
Ah, yes, that. Well,
Them.
needs must.
That data slate that he's giving you, he is not expecting back. You can see that in his.
I was raised
body
by
language.
someone else and occasionally got an allowance from space.
From Space Mommy.
Yeah.
Which side of the family was she? Breeze or Gisbeth?
She was Van Breeze.
Okay.
Gisbath was the nobility that raised me. Anyway,
Yes, as it's
so
up to you
I
as to
take the-
what you would like to do from there.
I lift a finger in the pointing between Reinhardt and the captain, and I say, "Reinhardt, if you please."
Yeah.
Are you going to
And
kill
I will
him?
walk up and I will give a salute and then extend my hand for the data slate.
Ah, yes, yes. He passes you the data slate, and then Reinhardt, I'm going to ask you to make our first skill roll of the game.
Oh boy.
I need you to please make a perception plus 20.
Alrighty. So
I will remind
there's-
you that I am alert to traps or danger if that is
Yes, your paranoia.
involved.
62. What's that give you?
62. My perception is 29, so
You
plus
failed.
20 would be 49. That is not enough.
Okay.
Not enough.
When you get he basically he nods, he returns the salute because in his eyes, Captain Opina outranks you. He gives you the data slate.
I'll take it.
There is for those of us that have been around for a little while, if you recall some of the first couple of generations of cell phones, there is a blinking light indicating that there are a number of, well, in this case, several unread messages that need attention.
Modern cell phones have that too. Some of them, and it's evil.
The worst ones are when your phone vibrates and it lights up and it's like, oh my god, my phone is possessed, please stop. Stop texting me! I do love how our first...
Is the data slate vibrating?
No, it is not vibrating. It's just
I'll
got one
take
little light
the
in the corner blinking. Non-stop.
Data slate into like a football carry, basically.
Carry it like a book, because that's basically what it is.
And then
Well, like you've seen
just
military.
follow behind the boss man.
All right. Icarus? I'm sorry, Icaros? You and Winter are in the dockyard. You knew which dock in particular to go to wait for this ship. It has long since arrived. It's probably been here at this point like a solid hour before it finally starts, disgorging passengers and crew. And finally, here comes this... Rev, give us a quick physical description of your character. We know you have the one eye, but what other physical traits might we notice standing out other than the pompous arrogance in your body language?
Well, technically, since I haven't got an augment, I'm not sure that I have the false eye yet.
Oh, well. Ghost time. I'm sure I'll get that eye. And then the other one. That's a reference to another Rogue Trader campaign that I once watched.
But my character looks very similar to the avatar that I have on Zoom. Fairly similar to that. Definitely a haughty air. Decked out in all of your typical finery that a nobility would have. Gold chains, armor in somewhat less than advantageous places, but
Big.
under the bulky, luxurious clothing, there is a set of carapace armor that is unseen.
I was gonna say, yeah, you've got the big, bulky, look at me shoulder pads that do absolutely nothing except make you look bigger than you really are, and then you have the hidden armor that is actually worthwhile. And of course, because it's Warhammer 40k, you have like 100 skulls worked into various motifs and designs. All of that, by the way, is me being a
board,
smartass.
a motif that was not my choosing, but I left a lot of room for my girlfriend to do what she wanted.
Oh, is that her artwork?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
There is a snake. There is a snake motif on the skull on the shoulder. I am in no way affiliated with the 1,000 Suns. Don't take that as a subtle like.
That's really good work, Kite. Good job. Kite has done other artwork for Rev in the past, for Blood and Glory, in fact, our Pendragon campaign. But back to Acheron. Yeah. So what Rev just described, this individual looks kind of like, but not quite reddish hair, kind of brownish hair, the big pompous shoulder boards.
More of a red beard than red hair.
Yeah, yeah. He's approaching. This is, as far as you could tell, the person that you and Winter have been sent to, I guess claim is the best word.
He is the gaudiest person on the station.
He's certainly, well, at least right now, in this particular section, yes. When you get into some of the other areas, there's probably far more gaudy people.
Certainly wearing enough gold. We're supposed to. I'm under the impression we're supposed to take him to our mutual contacts for what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes, your instructions delivered via the, let's say, the Seneschal, which is Marcellus Thale, gave orders to the Engineer Prime to send you to go collect the rogue trader, and bring him back to the ship. Unless, of course, the rogue trader, being the lord captain of everyone, decided to do something. But also, there was a hidden element in that message that you were given that was like, please, for the love of God, keep him the fuck out of trouble. He's just got here on Port Wander. Let's not get him stabbed right away.
I kind of like arch my brow at the secret instruction and just kind of like.
Well, I mean, listen, it's Port
Sign.
Wander, and everybody and anybody has people here. You haven't been here for maybe, let's say, a week, and you've already encountered a wide variety of not just proscribed, but also quasi or full-on heretical either people or behavior. And certainly the Omnissiah would not be happy if, you know what I mean? Like, you learn quickly that there's areas you avoid because it can be trouble.
Reinhardt, this is a fascinating place. Did she have 3?
I couldn't
want-
tell. I was
I
looking
wander
at some
up and
big
then,
guns
like-
over there.
Yeah.
Damn it,
So,
Rob.
so Winter is following behind Icarus and like slightly behind and off to like the left, I think, because she's just like letting him like wander through the people because she can see.
Yeah,
But I legitimately think it's a little weird for the blind lady using psychic powers to see in the same way that we would see with the normal eyeballs. So she probably is not so great at recognizing faces.
So your character model doesn't have any sort of face covering. Does your character have a face covering of any sort? Or anything covering the eyes in particular for that?
So the models in Hero Forge don't have any good face covering.
Correct.
She probably wears just like a fitted black thing because like a fitted black, almost kind of like
Like a blindfold.
sleep mask or a blindfold.
Okay.
Because she has like open eye pits. She doesn't have eyeballs.
Yeah. So is this kind of like
it's easier to keep them maintained and clean when she doesn't let dust in them.
Yeah. So is this kind of like a sleeping mask, or is this kind of like a cap that comes down to the bridge of the eyes? Or excuse excuse me, the bridge of the nose. And
Well,
covers
she
the
actually,
eyes.
it's actually probably something that like form fits along the bones of her cheekbones and her brow,
Okay.
and then loops in
Okay.
to keep it from causing issues. So
So a solid
Guldio,
piece,
you
a solid
see-
piece Zorro mask.
Yeah.
and she is literally walking around in guard flak armor, just without the helmet.
Yeah. Why not? She keeps her loose change in the eye sockets. Oh my god, that's jealous. Wow. Hold on, I've got a 25-cent piece here. Hold on, I can just let me dig it up. Nope, that's the dime. There it is.
I
Oh my
mean,
God.
I don't think she needs to worry about loose change when she can stand there and be all psycho scary and tell people to give me my money.
You know the carnies and like other ride people that have like the change machine on their waist? She's got a little button on the side of her visor and just
She just turns her head, taps her skull a couple of times, knocks out a couple of dimes. Okay, let's get back on track before I keep coming up with more crazy shit. Yeah, so effectively at this point, the four of you are... I mean, there's maybe a handful of people between you, and maybe like 10 yards of open space. Around you, of course, is the busy dockyard. You know, there's people moving about. There's a handful of different servitors moving about, moving stuff.
Yeah, Lord Captain? Are these
She's been paid for the
individuals
parody.
walking towards us people you are expecting, or should I go into scary mode?
scary mode can never hurt, one way or the other. Am I
Alrighty.
expecting? I haven't read the notepad, so was that telling me who to expect, or?
Well, you haven't read the notepad, so I don't know what it's going to say. I mean, obviously, I know what it
You
says.
could
but-
always ask me for the notepad while telling me to go into scary mode.
Reinhardt, that woman we saw. Do you think that was a sanctioned mutation?
I'm not certain.
She's literally walking towards you behind Icaros.
No. I'm talking about the joke that I made to begin with.
Oh, you mean the triple rack lady?
Yeah.
The one
He's
from-
making a total recall reference.
Yes, he is. It took me a second because now I caught it. A minute ago, I didn't catch it.
Did it help if I referred to her as having 3 racks?
I think
Apparently.
it did. It made the connection. I'm not gonna lie.
Either that, or he suddenly pictured her as a mech with 3 rotary autocannons. I'm not sure which.
I mean, either one could be entertaining, just for different ways.
All right.
Daka
Can't-
daka.
Daka, daka,
Damn it, I'm
okay.
getting,
All right, calm down,
Skyrim
Orphan.
flashbacks.
I'm going to put on
The
my
mechanicus
most
around here is getting out of hand.
intimidating
on that lady.
aura.
Yes, Reinhardt, intimidate away. While I guess Borgulio
right, I don't know what
reads the
motive-
data slate.
I don't know what modifier you want to give me, but
Well, it's
that
okay.
doesn't look
It was-
promising.
Yeah, so I think anybody that you might have been trying to intimidate, no matter who the target was, they just kind of, I think they scoff at you a little bit and just go about, going back to doing whatever it is they were doing.
Reinhardt, what do you see on the pad?
Data slate. This isn't Star Trek.
I'll take a look at it. Well, there's a screensaver and
Oh,
I'm
the
getting
one
to
with
my
little-
notes. Hold on.
Is it the one with the little pipes?
no,
Love
it's
that
the one with the stars going backwards, like some other sci-fi
Oh.
things that we're not related to in any way.
On the data slate, there are a number of messages. There is a number that are generically addressed to the new rogue trader of House Van Breeze. God, let me just get back to my notes and actually kind of skim through it. Let's see. There are more than 20 various messages addressed to Borgulio, either personally or
Borgulio.
I'll get it one day.
He was pretty close that time.
Yeah,
He's getting better, but I'm enunciating
listen, you're
more.
expecting a lot for the first episode, okay?
Borgulio.
Some are addressed personally. Others, the majority, appear to be addressed more generically to the new rogue trader of House Van Breeze. The more generically addressed ones are little more than messages of condolence and or messages of congratulations of your ascendancy to the head of your family and the rights and duties and freedoms of being a rogue trader.
Yeah, it looks like you've got mail.
The few that are addressed more personally include a message from a first officer acting captain to Holt Van Dyne of the Golden Albatross, But because of one of our players dropped out, that particular message is now deleting itself as you're looking at it. There
Oh,
is.
why did that one go away?
It was it. They what they do. They did an unsend function. They sang a
I
hymn
wasn't
of
sure that they
unsending.
could do that.
It was a hymn of unsending, and only proper admechs can do that. Properly trained and ordained at Administratum, Adeptus Mechanicus can do that.
I've never seen the message go away before. That was weird. I
There
didn't even
is.
press the go bye bye button.
Well, you have to do it before they actually read the message. I gotta stop. There is another message from Lord in Absentia Marcellus Thale, Seneschal of the former Lady Nomi Van Breeze. And then lastly, a letter from a man identified only as Orbist Dre, but his message comes with authentication codes that are as the Rogue Trader.
Well, looks
can
like I
recall.
can't read this one.
Yeah, it bears the seals and sigils of House Van Breeze in the message, but it requires it to you, Reinhardt, because you haven't been quote unquote read in yet. It looks like a bunch of high Gothic symbols that are in the wrong order. Other than things like House Van Breeze and Orbis Dre.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what's going on here. Perhaps you would like to take a look?
Certainly. And I
Akaros, you see these two conversing over a data slate.
I also noticing his intimidation roll. I kind of like. Is he doing a football hacker? I'm kind of just like stand watching. Call forth my my trusty server skull Pythagoras to bring up the data slate
What
just
a
to make sure
fucking
that
awesome name for
Probably-
a server skull.
Probably what it is I was meaning to like brandish my weapon threateningly, and instead I caress it lovingly, and
That's amazing.
It just creeped everybody out.
Yeah, everybody's like, the fuck? A gun fetish?
well, this
That's
well,
not
this-
new
who
here.
touched Sasha? Who touched my gun?
I was gonna say the second would also be fitting for his character.
Yeah,
Not
so you have two
surprised.
messages of note and a bunch of others that basically say, sorry about your loss, congratulations, you got promoted. One is from Marcellus Thale, a name you should recognize because he is the one that gave you the initial notice of your mother's passing, as well as, Jesus Christ.
He was
Set
a good
everything in
bargain.
motion
She
to
got
get
him
you
on
here.
Thale.
I'm sorry?
I said he was a good bargain. She got him on Thale.
No. He was the one that organized everybody's transit to get here over the last however many months it's been.
All Thales are final.
Nope.
stop it. Stop it.
So you've got a message from Thale, and you've got a message from somebody calling himself Orbis Dre, but unless you actually open the message yourself, it's gonna look like a bunch of gobbledygook.
Well, as I was
I
saying,
would never pretend to read your mail.
I would just read it, of course.
I basically, in the most obnoxious way possible, snap my fingers and hold out my hand for the pad.
So I lean over into Akaros and ask, so
I'll
is
give
that
him
the
the
one
pad
we're
and then hold
supposed
my
to
hand
keep
out for the
out
tip.
of trouble?
I missed what Rodan said. I'm sorry.
Apparently,
Yeah.
it
So I lean up to
says-
Akaros and ask, is this the one we're supposed to keep out of trouble?
Apparently, he looks noble. I
He
guess.
looks like a noble
I mean-
ass.
Thank you.
She kind of just looks at him and goes, well, he's kind of glowy and a little prideful, and that one over there is inappropriately involved with his weapons.
Rodance, you catch like I don't know how to explain this, so just bear with me here. If this, in your psychic way, it's not quite a breeze, but it feels kind of like a breeze, but it's a connection directly between Reinhardt and his whichever weapon he is currently holding, and
The
it's
Hellgun.
got a tint of red to it. The red associated typically with Valentine's Day hearts.
Yeah, they're kind of really distracted. How long do you think it takes before the pickpockets on the station pick his pockets clean?
Whereas Warner has a red line that goes between himself to his gun, I have a red line that just wraps around me.
Yes, yes. It's almost a damn storm of red lines just swirling around you in the in her psyker sort of way of seeing things.
I mean, I figure she kind of like is the equivalent of sorta aura-y life.
Yeah,
Like vague understanding of light, not light.
yeah. It's just it's things
Because
that you have
she has the
learned.
equivalent sight of a person, but
Yeah.
it's not the same sight of.
No. And what you have learned is how to associate what you do see with what is actually there and how to interpret.
Well, and I can't on blanks or nulls, I can't see it all.
Correct.
So I'm
They-
clearly not seeing the exact equivalent of
The
realness.
closest thing, the only way you would know if a blank or a null would appear is in that particular area, like whatever the radius, which I think is like 30 feet or something like that. That
It would
radius,
just wipe
that
out
area,
my sight completely.
it's just black unless you're standing in the circle or the sphere of.
And then I'm completely blind, basically.
Exactly. Hey, thanks for that sub, Darius. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
it.
so
Kami
I
Shinigami.
kind of
Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna follow Akaros around still, like, because I'm slightly off to his side and behind him, like talking over his shoulder slightly. Like, I'm just like following him around because I feel like it's easier that way. I'm less likely to bump into things if I follow someone else around. Kind of silly, but it works.
Above the table,
Yeah.
how well does your sight, would you say, see like inanimate objects?
It's literally okay. It's flavor equivalent of being silly, like game mechanics equivalent. It is 1-for-1 with other characters.
Yeah. So I usually picture it's like, I mean, you could interpret it however you want, and I imagine each psyker would have a slightly different understanding. But
Yeah,
for
we're all
me, I'm
crazy in
picturing like
different ways.
any solid inanimate object would be like a block of static. But you see it, you recognize it, like on some level, you recognize it as a block of static, but you also recognize that's a couch, and that's a bar stool, and that's a cup of water, that's a cup with no water.
Mhm.
These are things that you would just learn like intrinsically as you're making your way through the Psychana skull or whatever the fuck it is. Scholar Psychanum.
Schola Psychanum?
Yeah, we'll go with
Scholastica
that.
Psychanum?
Yeah,
Boy, Drakari furniture would be confusing to her.
because it's probably living.
Yeah, the Astropath Transcendica,
Yeah, let's go with that.
or,
The Astropath-
Adeptus Astropath Telepathica is
Well,
the
that's
name of the
the-
organization
yeah.
over Astropaths.
Yeah, and then the school for that would be like Scholastica Psychanum or something like that, or I don't know. It's pseudo language, not really. I don't know. This is what we have. We have the Lord Captain
Schola
looking at you.
Astronomica.
There you go.
Oh,
So Rev, your character is looking at this data slate. The first
Mhm.
message is from Marcellus Thale. The second message is from Orbist Dre. And once you input your family's ciphers, the correct answers to the keys, etc., you see you have a message from this guy. Which one, if any, of these two would you like to read first?
Are they both locked or just the one?
Just the one. Well, I mean, they both have like some encryption on them, but it's easy for you to open it because you know the codes, as it were.
Now, who is this Orvis fellow?
Would you like to read his message?
Do I know who he is what I'm asking.
No, you do not know who he is. But his message is riddled with Van Bree's ciphers.
Okay, well, I will look at the name I don't know first.
Okay.
And see what that message is.
The message from Oberstray is recorded in your family's personal ciphers, and the message is from a man, obviously, who calls himself only Orbis Dre. He doesn't use a title. He says he has been waiting a long time for a member of the family line to return and carries a message and a gift from your great-grandfather and would really appreciate meeting with you as soon as you are able and willing at a specified location in the Court of the Dead, which is the Port Wander's vast markets. It is a matter, he says, that promises great glory, and then the message ends. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. There's great glory attached.
What I really need to know is, does he rent cars? And then
I don't get it, but go ahead.
Glory, glory, what's it to ya?
well, Orvis normally rents cars, so
Oh, that's Orbit. This is. Let me spell his name in TTS for you real quick. Orbist Dre. Apologies. But yeah,
I imagine he is very round, because he's the orbist.
the Orbitist of Orbits.
The orbist.
Oh, I
He's
get
an
it.
ornery little
yeah.
orb.
Yeah. He's also old. In the image that you have of him, or the video recording rather, it looks like he's easily 100+ years old.
I was thinking of Avis, not Orvis. My bad.
Yeah. I also don't enunciate all the letters all the time, so I'm sure that's not helpful.
Orvis
The other
is actually
message-
a sports company, but anyway, the other message.
Yes, the other message is from Marcellus Thale, and it indicates that when you are ready and your advisors are assembled to come to the palatial estates that he has been using since his arrival here on Port Wander. These estates are palatial in scale, but only in comparison to the other estates in the upper echelons of the station, and are located not far off of the Court of the Dead.
Okay. Do I have any knowledge of the station whatsoever, or am I just completely
Let's
new to it?
hand wave and say that there is a welcome to Port Wander tourist guide, but of course it's not tourism. It's like how to get where you need to be to serve the God Emperor the best in Port Wander. It's a book series, in fact.
It's the mall map.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You get the mall map, and it says, here you are. But it's like a book series that's been published over the last 1,000 years that says how to get where you need to be in order to best serve the God Emperor in insert name of place here.
And it's about 1,000 years out of date.
And yes, any publication can be easily a century or more out of date.
So, is there any information about my advisors in the letter?
There is an attached file that lists Reinhardt, Icaros, Winter, a navigator named Anastasia Mercator, and a handful of others from the ship that we haven't fleshed out yet, like various senior ship crew that will be basically NPCs.
And are there any picked files in the attachment for the? Would I recognize any faces in the crowd after looking at the pics?
If you know what, make me an awareness +20.
The
What would I
people
need to-
staring at you,
Yeah,
talking amongst themselves.
Yeah, that's where you get the +20 from. There's two that are looking at you, looking at each other, looking at you.
Right. So, to clarify on the table, what am I rolling?
Over here on this thing. Hold on, let me get my mouse over here.
Percentage roller.
Oops. Shit. Hold on one second. I didn't have the right window active again. Over here. And then press the white button that says roll percentage.
Look to your road trader. Now back to me. Now back to your rogue trader.
I'm the rogue trader now.
Unfortunately, he is not me.
That is a 66. I don't think your awareness is that high. Let me see. Where are you? Awareness, full skill, awareness, perception, 31, 51. Let's see. You also did not do well with your perception. Would Icaros and Winter like to help out the erstwhile Lord Captain? Apparently he needs it.
They look lost.
I'm still sort of fascinated with the woman behind this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of your motivators, as I recall.
Seeing as how his security is no longer trying to look threatening, I'm just gonna proceed forward and
Like big guns and a cannot lie.
How did I know that was coming?
I almost spit out my drink, you fucking asshole.
and as I advance, I will call out Lord Burguldio. Fumbling with the name a couple times before just settling on Lord Captain Breeze Gizba.
I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. It's either that or Rev, your character.
Lord Captain will suffice for future reference. I wouldn't expect you to be able to pronounce my name anyway.
I could probably work at it, but I like bougie better.
Yes, but
I
those
just look between the two for a second before saying we've been instructed to take you to I forget it.
Marcellus
Marcellus
Thale.
Wallace.
Marcellus.
No, Marcellus Thale.
Marcellus.
Calm down, Pulp Fiction.
I flip a gelt to Reinhardt and I say, Lord Captain, if you please.
Yeah, Lord Captain.
Keep throwing guilt at me. I'll call you whatever I want, or whatever you want. Sorry. Please continue.
I would say I'm staring at them, but I don't have eyes, so I'm just.
You could be looking in their general direction. The problem is the weight of the stare. It doesn't ever register for people with eyes. You have to be pointing at them. Do you have your staff? Do you have a staff?
No. My focus.
Oh, is it orb or whatever?
As an orb.
Yeah.
And she isn't like carrying it around.
Gotcha.
So,
As the coin flies through the air from Reinhardt, you see this big wreath of red wrap around the coin. I'm sorry, Warner.
I lean slightly closer to Icarus and whisper that the one with the gun obsession also really likes gold. Of guild.
From guilt.
Guilt
Yeah,
does make the world go
money.
round.
Sorry, Warner,
I don't really particularly
Warner, I don't mean to speak
whisper
to your
it, but I
character,
don't
but
say
that
it
just popped
loudly.
into my head.
Oh yeah.
That is funny.
No,
It's
it
canon now.
works.
It's canon now. All right. So can we safely say
My
that
motivation is fortune.
Yeah. Can we safely say the four of you have figured out who you are and you're now standing in approximately arm's reach of each other?
Yeah, Pythagoras is just holding up the email that says we're supposed to be meeting, just so in
You
case
got
he
Pythagoras holding up the sign,
Yeah.
Lord Captain Borguldio Van Priest, and whatever the fuck the rest of it.
Borgu.
I'm not
Dio.
gonna listen. I will get it one day, okay? I will get it. Today is not that day.
Lord Captain Borgudio.
Borgugio.
Bro.
My neue Freundin.
I look at him and go, we should probably get to the ship before you're picked clean by the local thieves.
Very well. Yes, lead the way, please.
Now,
The thieves want to give me a bath? I'm very confused.
I will say, out of character, that at this point, Rev, your character kind of has a choice. You can go to the ship, you can go to Marcellus, or you can go meet with Obrist.
Well, I haven't established my seat of power. I don't have a connection to all my resources. Before I go get said gift that could easily be a trap, I'm going to go to the ship.
Icaros.
Smart.
Icaros, it appears that the rogue trader wants to go to the ship. Would you like to send a message or anything to somebody to let them know that the new big boss is finally showing up?
I take it there's a second in command, first mate /
Somebody's in
The
charge of
Seneschal.
that ship right now. The Seneschal is overall in charge in lieu of the rogue trader.
All right, I'll send a message to the Seneschal that
Okay.
you know.
Yes, because you all do have comm beads, at the very least.
I take it you were the engine seer?
As he says as he watches me typing on the pad while Pythagoras is holding it. Yes.
Do you have a I forget exactly what it's called, but do you have one of those mechanical voices? The Vox relay or something like that? Vox.
Don't they call him?
I believe I do. It's built into his It's not a rebreather. It's a
It's like the bottom half of your skull has been removed and replaced with.
Yeah, he's got
Vox,
mechanicus
whatever.
implants. I think
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah. So you get the yes, I am.
Yeah. I just I don't have a voice changer, and I don't.
No. Listen, I'm not trying to make you get one either. So I wanted to point that out for the viewers, because he is the, Adeptus Mechanicus / Explorator.
I think it's called a Vox box.
I keep thinking that, but I feel like that's just not right. You get a message back from Marcellus a few moments later as you're making your way through, because you'll have to come out of this dockyard, work your way
Marcellus says,
through.
"Say what again?" Sorry.
Okay. God damn it. Because obviously you'll have to come out of this dockyard, work your way through a couple of different dockyards, and then finally back to the dockyard where your ship is, and has been for some time now. You get a message back from Marcellus Thale saying, "I will meet you at the," I can't think of the right word, but basically where you would board the ship at. There's probably a specific word, and I can't think of it.
Say that again.
Whatever dock the ship is in.
Are you asking what the term for berth is, or the term for us getting on the ship? I missed that part.
Well, the text that Icaros is getting back is from Marcellus saying he will meet you guys at the docking corridor, whatever the hell it would be called.
The airlock?
Yeah. Let's call it the airlock. Let's go with that.
Okay.
I'm sure 40K has its own special word for the airlock. The void transfer station. I don't know.
It would be just like them to call it a vomitorium, wouldn't it?
The vomitorium.
Yes, it would.
All right. Shall we fast forward? So basically, what I'm hearing, just for clarity, is we're going to meet with Marcellus first before doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me scroll the Xeno evacuation tube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to the internet, they're called airlock or bulkhead.
Yeah, I guess airlock it is. When you make your way through the bustling quasi-streets of Port Wander, the dockyards being as busy as they are, did I lose a player? We had 5 players, but one has dropped out, unfortunately, next to, not quite the last moment, but earlier today, they have elected to drop from the group. What was I saying? Working your way downtown, the busy streets, something, leaving on a jet. You make it to the airlock where you are going to come back aboard Karos and Winter. Following you, of course, is the rogue trader and his bodyguard arch-militant / greedy man. You are stopped at the ship's docking port, or whatever you want to call it. Not so much stopped as you are, given a notice to, wait here for Marcellus, who will be here momentarily. The 4 of you now have a moment, if you would like to do any sort of in-character interactions amongst the 4 of you, before I bring your NPC general, master somebody or other in.
So, in our trip over here, did we have to prevent them from getting hit by the pickpockets and miscellaneous ne'er-do-wells of the station?
You know what? Let's see. Let me take a look at your Arch-Militant's character sheet and see what skill I want him to use that will make me laugh when he fails. Ooh. Ha 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 ha. You don't have security training?
Nope.
I can't make you roll it. I can't even make you roll it because it's an advanced skill, or at least it's not marked as basic. So instead of that, let's use.
That's more for like picking locks and
no,
stuff.
No, it really is. Yeah, I just thought it was incredibly funny that you didn't have anything in it. In this case, for what I want you to roll, security would have worked maybe. Why don't you give me? Yeah, scrutiny would be a good one because that's kind of like an insight roll. So go ahead and give me that basic skill scrutiny, which is your perception. Unfortunately, you have perception 24. This is a basic skill with no training. you're rolling against a 12. But I will give you a plus 20 because you are crazy weird, trying to do a really good job for that extra guilt from the boss.
And it's not just money. The motivation is fortune in general.
Yeah, and if you're dead, you can't have a fortune.
That is very true.
So, yeah, so you're going to be rolling against a 32.
All right.
I am
rolling
trained
against
in
a
awareness.
32.
I am trained in awareness with paranoia.
77. Now,
That's
that does
a
give
no.
us a chance to briefly discuss fate points. There are a number of things you can do with them. There is a card on the table over here. I'm spending fate. There's another table over here for burning fate. Spending fate is you have a number of points, you spend them for various things, you get them back at the next session. If you burn a
Mhm.
fate, it's gone forever unless you have done something that I, the GM, say that was pretty cool. You now get a fate point back.
Woot.
That's the very cut and dry short version of it.
And
I
in terms
totally
of
forgot
mechanical
about
spending,
fate
what's the difference
cards.
between spending and burning?
The options are different as far as what you can do with it. Burning it, it's gone forever unless you get it back somehow. But usually,
Right.
burning a fate will keep you alive when nothing else will. That's
Your
one of the
ship
biggest
blew
things.
up. You burned to fate. You somehow are on another ship.
Or you're floating in the void, less likely by a small margin to die than you were 4 seconds ago.
We're gonna say less.
You can use
less...
a fate point if you would like, Warner.
I don't
But-
feel the need to re-roll my horrible
Yeah.
basic skill
Yeah.
and be embarrassed
Now,
all over
would
again.
the Lord Captain please give us a awareness roll? Or excuse me, yeah, let's do awareness. And add in whatever modifiers paranoia gives you that I don't recall off the top of my head. I want to say it's like a plus 10 or something like that to ambushes and things of that nature.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because I have the rule book open, I just don't feel like looking it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm being a little bit lazy right now.
In a bit of retconning, because I kind of forgot.
Uh-huh.
Can I, as we're walking, actually never mind, because Warner said he's horrible at it anyway, so I'll save that for later. I was thinking about above board. I was thinking about like telling Warner be alert for, you know, there's all sorts of unsavory characters, but if it's a bad skill for him, that's
Oh, I can certainly try.
well, it's a plus 10.
It would have it would be a plus 10. Unfortunately, it's already been used. Now, I will say you, the Lord Trader, I keep wanting to say Lord Trader, the Lord Captain, can make your awareness roll with that plus 20 that was given to Warner as well. Your paranoia, I'm going to double check this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to give you like a plus 10. Oh, damn it, I did not want to close that. And that's the second time I've done that. Went to click on,
Well, it's not going to matter anyway.
what'd you roll? Something retarded?
92.
92.
You can re-roll it though with a fate point, and again, spending a fate point, you get it back at the start of the next session.
Okay. I think I'm going to save my one fate point.
You have one fate point? Are you serious? I believe you. I just
I think I only have one fate.
I have like 5.
I have 4.
Like you must have rolled really shitty. And
I think
had
he got
something...
something that
I'm
removed
sorry, I
that
have
fate
3.
point.
Yeah,
I
I
have
have 3 on
3.
your copy, on my copy of your sheet.
Yeah, I have 3. I was thinking I rolled a 1 to determine fate points.
Yes, because I believe 3 is generally the lowest that you can roll, and then you might lose one based on various things that can happen.
Okay, it's starting session. I'll spend, not burn, but I'll spend a fate point to reroll. I don't see how I could do much worse than a 92 unless you've rigged this thing.
I have not.
Really? Because all my rolls have been high.
That's a 93.
I
All of my
I
rolls have been high
promise.
too.
Hey Rev, if this was a roll high system, you'd be doing pretty well.
That's usually how it works.
Every roll that we have had has been 60 plus.
I
And
mean,
now it gives a 26.
Okay, I mean, if you want to say I cheated, I rigged the roller, I hear you, but I haven't.
The only person with a low roll is you.
I haven't rolled yet.
Use your awareness. And do you get any psyker benefits, or any benefit for that matter?
Why would I use my okay. They told me to keep him out of trouble. I actually have to try, don't I?
I mean, at least make it look good if you're not gonna try.
Yeah, let me see real quick. I don't remember what it is. Oh, I'm trained in awareness. That does help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I have a perception of 43.
So that's
That's
63.
pretty good.
Reinhardt and I are busy discussing the woman we saw earlier.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're distracted talking about that one woman that was probably a mutant.
So this little roller next to me,
Uh-huh.
do I have to do anything to make it work?
Oh,
Can I
are you
just roll?
talking about this one?
Oh, these are D10s. Okay.
You
Yeah.
want to use this one?
Okay, let me rotate over there. Scroll.
Let me.
It's not like I could roll much worse. Roll's one of the few numbers that would be worse.
Click me to
Yeah.
roll. Click to roll.
Yep. Just let it roll, and then the dice will go back in that little chest. 72. Wow. This
So
is not.
here's
I'm
one of the
re-rolling
things.
that because it hurts my soul.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. Please.
I only need I need like a 60.
Watch it go higher.
66. It's lower.
So
I'll
one
take
of the
I'll take
things
a-
that
I'll
I
take a-
remember.
That's actually
from Dark
my
Heresy.
perception is 43. So I actually need a 63 if we're getting the plus
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Okay, can I spend more than one fate point on
No,
a skill?
that's it. That's it.
I'll take a perception swing at this.
Oh, okay. All right.
One of the
Icarus,
things I
Carlos?
remember from Dark
I'm also
Heresy.
trained in awareness, so this might end up 45 perception. So this will
65. Is what I'm
40.
hearing? 65 total. I
Oh.
mean. Hey,
he
Alterios,
sees
you
it.
actually notice some kid. He looks like he's probably about 14. He kind of pops in out of like this little, like almost an alcovey kind of hallway sort of thing. It's like kind of, it's really secluded. There's like a number of crates nearby. This is why it works right here. He pops his head out. He sees you guys coming. You see his eyes just light up, right? Because he's like, ooh, somebody rich. Very clearly he's rich. And he's looking right at your new boss, the Lord Captain. And he starts to move in. What do you do? Now, I want to point out, he's not moving in threateningly. He's just...
He's looking for an easy score.
Yeah, he's gonna... Basically, it looks like he's gonna do the bump, oh, my bad, and swipe something from your pocket.
Is my character actually holding any money? I was just gonna like throw him a couple coins.
Yeah, you can do that. I do want you to roll a. Let me see what you got in here. You got something like charm, maybe? You do have charm. Well, it's a basic skill, so you can roll fellowship at half. So that's a 16. And how much gold are you gonna? How many coins are you gonna throw him? Because I'll give you a little extra plus on that, based on how much you give him. And what's your approach? Like, here, just take this shit, get away from me, you little shit, or is it like, here, don't bother, you're gonna get yourself hurt? You know, like, are you trying to look out for him? Are you trying to help him? Or are you just trying to distract him?
I'm actually trying to help him because I was there.
Okay.
I was that kid at one point, so.
All right. I will give you a. Let me look at my modifiers to make sure I'm not screwing this up. I'll give you a plus. Yeah, fuck it, plus 20. That seems like.
All right.
Seems kind of generous.
Watch it, roll high.
Charm, fellowship divided by 2 plus 20.
All right.
36, I believe it was. He stops mid-stride, sees you, sees that axe on the back, on your back that your character model has, and he sees the all, I shouldn't say all metal, but half metal face, and he just stops dead in his tracks. He's like, you see right away, like, he's scared of the ad mech for some reason, right? You don't know, obviously, because you're not really interacting, but he sees the coins in your hand, and do you drop them, like, in front of him, or do you actually give them to him?
I'm just gonna kind of push it into him and be like, be more careful with your targets.
Be smart next time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he just, like, he mumbles something, closes his hand around the coins, and immediately bolts right back down that little rat hole that he came out of. He doesn't even say anything. Like, you hear him mumble at something, it sounded like a thank you, it could have been a fuck you, he just runs. He's done. He's out.
Alright.
And you have just saved the Lord Captain from being robbed, or pickpocketed, more accurately. Because I'm sure he would have lost, like, a gold bracelet or something.
I after this exchange, I kind of looked to Winter and like, what do you think the over under is that we're gonna have to cut our way out of another escape into another escape pod?
I don't want to make bets. I kind of like my other arm.
you want to keep your flesh arm? My one good arm?
I mean, the mechanical arm works just as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to see how long I can keep this one. I'm already out 2 eyes and an arm, you know.
We'll rebuild her stronger, faster.
Alterios, your character should say something about the flesh is weak.
Yeah, you really should. You really should.
That
would be the
cliche, though.
that is the AdMech way.
Yeah.
You could always do the HK-47 way and call us meatbags.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Actually, that's part of your free thinker mentality. Instead of saying the flesh is weak, just be like, "Fucking meatbags."
No, the parts are something. If it's within your character, how about something like, "Parts are always falling off, you meatbags."
Yeah.
Your parts are faulty.
Or, you know, like, well, they'll be here if you ever need to replace it.
I'll let you know. I mean, we already did one. I expect that the others will come off eventually. How much do you replace until you're a different person?
Is that an in-character or out-of-character question?
That's an in-character
Okay.
question between me and Icaros. I think it's
kinda
funny.
Like, I just blink and like, I don't know, I don't feel any different.
They call it the Theseus servitor problem.
I'm glad Rev got that reference.
I feel like this is one of those moments like in Battletech where the Mane Domini are like, this is my true form. Go fuck yourself. You fucking flesh bag of garbage.
Any good clanner would look at them askance.
Oh yeah, absolutely they would.
Yeah.
Stares
Will make the-
motherfucking wing at the BI implants a lot of clanners had during the invasion.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to do real quick, or shall we bring in Marcellus Thale?
I think we're
Well,
good.
bring
Well,
in
I'm good.
Marcellus Vale. We get to report that we successfully brought
Yeah.
the Lord Captain here without getting robbed or shot.
Yeah.
Dilettante delivery is successful.
Dilettante
Yes.
deliveries.
I can see.
That's the new name of the episode.
Yeah, really it is.
Dilettante delivery.
I could totally see her referring to the Lord Captain as the dilettante.
Oh, I lost my place.
In flagrante dilettante.
Seems
Lord
appropriate.
Dilettante.
Did my where's my character model for Thale?
I hear her say dilettante and think it's a thing, and I add it to my title list.
Oh god.
Your list of titles just went up by 1, but you have no idea what you're talking about. That's amazing. All right, let me get him
What
up here.
errors just happened?
I brought in my character model for Thale.
All I see is asset bundle error 4043 forbidden at an address
Jesus
string.
Christ. I wonder if I do need to like refigure something on that.
It might be a firewall issue.
It could be something silly. All right, so
Well, it's complaining specifically about the file in Cloud and Steam. So,
I wish I had a good answer. Unfortunately, I don't. So
I think it's a needs to restart Steam issue, but now's not a good time for that.
no, it could very well be. As you guys approach the ship and you make it to what appears to be the quote-unquote official entry point onto the ship, you know, the docking corridor and all that stuff, there's a handful of ship armsmen in your Van Breeze colors and markings, but there's also coming along down the hallway or what have you, the gangplank or whatever, from a different direction, and it's slightly older gentleman. He looks like he's probably about 40 or 50 years old. Kind of a sandy brown hair. if you look closely at the model, you'll notice that he does have it's a cross somewhere between like a campaign stud and just a regular eyebrow piercing on the one eyebrow. This is Marcellus Thale. If you've seen a picture of him like in your data slate, you can recognize that. This is, let me get my notes here. Obviously where am I? As he approaches, he's probably wearing more so, what sort of want to use here? Not necessarily ceremonial robes, but more of like robes that one might wear as comfort. Not necessarily wandering the streets, as far as any nobility might be concerned, but these are definitely like, he's well off. Like visually, he looks like he's well off, as far as like financially speaking and whatnot. As he approaches the airlock and sees the four of you there, he comes up and recognizes, of course, the Lord Captain. I just gotta get the right channel here. Sorry.
Borgudio.
Yeah, Bargudio. Whatever. I'm gonna. My Lord Captain. He says, and he takes a knee in front of you. Welcome to Port Wander. I am Marcellus Thale, Seneschal to Nomi Van Vries, and by your leave, I look to continuing that same service in your name, if you'll have me.
Now, this is just to make sure my ADHD kicked in for a second. This is the Seneschal?
Yes.
Okay. I give a deep head incline and I say, Seneschal, it is a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to our service together in the name of the Emperor.
Indeed. He starts to rise and then kind of catches himself, realizing that you're the one in charge and he kind of has to stay here more or less until you tell him to stand up. But he doesn't say or otherwise indicate any of that. You see that he starts to stand as though he's used to doing this and is allowed to stand when done, quote unquote, reporting, but then catches himself.
I extend my hand palm out with 3 fingers extended and curl them in a stand-up gesture.
I'm laughing, not him. I swear to God. I'm just picturing Rev being this, like, fucking in the beginning of Game of Thrones when King Robert, or whatever, what the fuck was it Robert? Baratheon?
Robert Baratheon?
Yeah,
yes.
when he goes up to Winterfell in like the first episode, and everybody bows, and he just does that little hand wiggle and says, "No, get up, you're my old friend." He stands up and gathers himself, and he says, "Upon your mother's passing, for which I would like to formally extend my deepest and most true condolences." And for a moment, like his voice catches, before he collects himself. I was instructed to return here with your ship and arrange for your transport. In truth, my lord, I would have traveled the galaxy to bring you here myself, but for the weight of repairs our vessel required. But you are here now, praise the Emperor, and now that you are here, we may continue the great works your mother began.
You said repairs. What is the state of the vessel?
Yeah, Thale definitely looks over at Reinhardt, is kind of like delicately lifting the corner of one eyebrow right now.
I go, Seneschal. This is Reinhardt. He's good at removing. He's a troubleshooter.
Yes, I am aware. He served on, I don't remember the name of the ship, but he served on that ship that had the Geller field problem. I remember.
But as I was saying, you mentioned repairs. What is the state of the ship currently?
Currently, the ship is ready to disembark within approximately 2 to 3 days. Possibly sooner.
Was there something you wish to say, Reinhardt?
Yeah, I'll save it for later. You're clearly busy at the moment. Sidling up behind him, thinking he's all, like, secretive and stuff, but not really.
Not at all. Because I'm sure you've got your armor and shit on, right?
That he may have been, how shall we say, familiar with your mother.
this
Yeah.
if he's anything like me, Reinhardt, who wasn't.
Oh shit! Besmirching his mother's name and her grave. Oh, that's right. She's Space Mommy. You don't have that kind of a connection with her.
Yeah.
When you look back to Thale, he definitely has an eyebrow curled up, a la Spock, and you're not sure what that look on his face is, but he doesn't look entirely pleased that he heard that.
Seneschal, and I pull up the pad because my character's memory for names is going to be horrible too.
Of course,
And-
why not?
And I read the name off of the other missive. I said,
Oh,
Does it-
Overstray.
I said, does this name familiar to you in any way?
It is not a name familiar to me outside of the fact that I know he has sent a message requesting your meeting him at your earliest convenience.
Have you
matter
been
of-
reading my mail, Seneschal?
What an interesting thing to insinuate. No, of course not, my lord. I have also received a message from him in his effort to get a hold of, I believe, you in particular, or at the very least, a representative of the family. Knowing that you were close, I have chosen not to respond myself.
Very well. This person is basically in the fancy district, correct?
The Court of the Dead?
Mm-hmm.
The Court of the Dead is basically the merchants' quarter.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the shops and whatnot.
Icarus, are you networked with the servitors of the ship's librarium?
Out of character, am I?
You've been here for about a week or so. I will leave that answer to you. Your duties have, at this point, been mostly focused around getting yourself acclimatized or familiar with the various ship systems and their, specific states of disrepair or what have you, which, in your experience so far, the ship was fucked up 6 months ago. Mostly warp travel damage, and it was quite extensive, but in the previous 6 months, 95% or more of that work has been completed. When Thale said there was about 2 or 3 days left on repairs and the ship would be ready to depart, that has been a fair and accurate assessment based on your own understanding of everything.
I guess in my capacity as Mechanicus and wanting to make sure the ship doesn't just blow up, I probably would be networked with the servitors just to make sure.
It would
everything's going
also
apace.
would be a really good idea that a lot of the Mechanicus aboard the ship would be networked together in some way to quickly facilitate the transfer of information between parties, no matter where on the ship they might be. Like, hey, engine room number 1, boiler 5 is going absolutely apeshit. We need someone to get in here and feed it the good oils because the machine spirit is absolutely irate right now.
But
And
is he
only wants that one person that it trusts to bring those oils. You know what I mean?
Databases in 40K in a lot of cases are going to be written on paper. So I was more curious if he had a connection to the ship's record keeping.
Sure. You
Potentially.
did mention the librarian. Yeah.
Also, yes, just because I'd want to be kept abreast of the ship's overall status.
You guys
And-
do have a librarian as part of your ship's. I'm going to say compliment. That's not the right word, but you know what I
I
mean.
believe we do, yeah. I thought that was one of the things we picked.
Your perks or whatever.
No.
You actually don't have. You have an
Oh.
observation dome and a Tenebro maze, but not the librarian or
I
whatever.
believe we literally ran out of either space or energy.
Something.
or both.
Yeah.
both.
Right.
No.
We managed to occupy both, I believe.
Well, the ship would still have records.
Yes,
I'm
you
assuming.
would. You would.
I'm basically wanting Icarus to make an inquiry, or whether that would be something that the someone else. Yes, I'm wanting to know if the ship has a record of this individual from its, because it's going to have a. It's my grandfather he's claiming to have ties to, so
Yeah.
therefore, are there records of this man from my grandfather's time?
You will have to. I think the seneschal picks up on where you're going, and he does step in and say, "My lord, in order to find out for sure about the veracity of Oberstre's comments about having served with your great-grandfather, you may have to physically go to the librarium aboard the ship. And even then, there may not be records there. There may be records back on Regius."
Yeah,
And when he
two
says,
generations back.
and I'm going to type this too, the name, god damn it, I keep fucking this up. I keep forgetting which window's active. Regius, I think at this point you would know, Rev.
Throne planet.
It's, yeah, that's the world that your mother's, well, basically the Van Breeze family has taken as their home world, or whatever you want to call it, the capital of their domain.
Okay, so I do a cursory search to see if there's even any multi-generational records stored on the ship.
You would have to go to the librarium to do that.
Yes, I'm aware.
Oh, so you actually want to go to... Okay, in that case, Thale, noticing that you want to do that, he does pull out his own data slate from a satchel that he carries under his... Not necessarily under his robes, but you know what I mean. He has a satchel, and in that satchel is a data slate. And he begins looking through the roster records, and he does point out that there is a Mikhail Dre serving aboard ship with a known lineage history to the Dre family, and that there are mentions of other Dre family members having previously served aboard this ship in the past.
In what capacity?
Low to mid crew, technical augury sensors, things of that nature. Like the Dre family, it appears that the Dre family has a generational history of serving within the auguries. I forget exactly what it's called. I think I'm using the wrong word, in fact. But basically, in the electro-technical sensory
Auguries
aspects.
would be like this. Auguries would be like the sensors.
Yeah. So
That's
it does appear, based on the fact that there are currently Dre members aboard and references to older generations of Dre's aboard, that this Orbis Dre may have at one time served your family.
Seneschal, I think we will take the Dre's up on their request. Please have security ready to execute the members of his family if we don't return.
That's such a 40K thing, and I'm laughing my ass off at how. As you wish, my lord. I will, by your leave, I will remain here and continue to oversee the finalization of repairs and refitting and preparations for departure. I imagine you'll want to get on to Regius at the earliest possible opportunity.
Of course, I know of no other pressing business here than that in the
Very well.
fitting of the ship.
When you have a moment, I do have a... What would a video be called in 40K? I know a pict is for a picture.
Wouldn't it be like a Vox or a...
Well, Vox is usually a radio.
Sound.
Yeah. Well, regardless, he would say that there is a video that your mother wanted me to give to you once we met. We don't have to do it right this moment if you would prefer to meet with Obrist Dre. Orbist Dre, not Obrist.
Are you aware of how long it is or its contents?
I am not. I was given explicit instruction to make sure that only you saw it.
Very good.
I will keep it aboard the ship for your return if you prefer that route, or you can view it now.
Well, I guess I will turn to the assembled advisors and I'd say, please wait but hopefully a moment. I'm going to review this and then we shall depart.
Okay.
And turning one eye and kind of a wink towards Reinhardt, I say, and to find our fortunes, and head off to my office, and I'm gesturing at the Seneschal.
Yes, of course, Lord Captain. Please follow me. I will take you to your... I think he would actually call it your solar. Just because it's British-ish. The remaining three of you, what Do you want to stay out here in this docking area, or would you prefer to go back
Oh,
on
I
the ship?
assume this conversation was on board ship.
No, this all took place outside, like at the docking.
Well, we would enter the
port.
ship with him, I think, but we would wait in like
A
I'm
waiting
kind of
area.
exciting to see my quarters.
Well, I was going to say, I assume my office would have some sort of well-appointed waiting area for those
Yeah,
wishing for
Absolutely.
appointments.
There's definitely an anteroom of some sort. Antechamber. Refreshments, in fact. Not quite a full live bar, but, you know, at least a cooler.
Well, from a rogue trader, it would literally be a live bar.
It probably would be. All right, so you're going to have your quote-unquote advisors entertain themselves while you go to watch this video. Let's see.
Nothing I like more than watching videos of my mother.
So disturbing. Let's see. Thale takes you into the solar, and he leaves a second data slate from his satchel. The one that he used earlier, he had put back. He pulls out a separate one, and there is you could see the thumbnail image of this video. It is your mother. You do recognize her, I think. You may have not actually ever seen her in person for many, many years, but you know what she looks like, who she is, etc.
My occasional allowance sometimes came with
Yeah,
a video.
yeah, it's probably a post pic of some planet that she was on, exploiting the natives for all their money.
Thinking of you, heart, heart, heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then he gives you that data slate, and he says, "When you're ready, my lord, I will be in the antechamber. Please come get me when you're ready," or something to that effect. And on the data slate, the only thumbnail on the desktop, as it were, is this video file. Cue the sad, dramatic music as we wait for Rev to say, "I pushed the play button." The video begins. My child.
I hadn't
let's
said
see.
it yet, though.
Oh, well, come on. Hurry up. We've got a show to run here.
I pressed the play button.
Thank you. Jesus, that took too long. My child, the video begins, showing Nomi garbed in simple but very fine robes in a large room lit only by a roaring fireplace beside her. Should you receive this, then it means my suspicions were right, and the foretelling of my fall accurate, to some degree, I suppose. On the morrow we will depart Regius for Vindemar, and if my misgivings and fortune are true, then it is likely Vindemar is my final destination. There is much I wish I could tell you, all the things to warn you of, or the things for which I should commend you. Be that as it may, it is much too late, for you are seeing this, and that must mean I am dead. Therefore, I suppose it is best to simply say what else must be said before I retire to rest before we set off again. I knew you not in your youth, and could watch barely a little of your adulthood, but know you now that I know you were raised well and well looked after. Now that you are here, little shall ever be beyond your reach, so long as you still draw breath. Thus, I task you with the following things, to accomplish them in my name and in yours, in the name of our legacy, our dynasty. Come to Vindemar, where I likely perished, and recover my remains and those of who fell with me. Cremate them all, Jesus Christ. Cremate them all, and then take those ashes and give them unto the void in the depths of the Alpha Matka system, around the world of Regius, so that we shall always be in the heavens of the world we serve. Next, learn the true power that caused my fall, and exact due justice, no matter who they may be. Ours is not a dynasty with which to trifle, and this message must be very clear. We shall brook no injury nor accept such insult, and justice must be carried out. Restore our worlds lastly, and raise them up into a mighty domain worthy of the Emperor's grace. This is our legacy, our writ made unto the stars themselves. And remember, my child, my heart, that we are only what we leave behind for our followers, our children, and our people. And the video ends. I will not repeat all of that, but I can send you the text if you want to watch the video again and again and again.
Is there a button on my desk to call for the Seneschal, or shall I have to leave my office?
I suppose in your office you have something of a switchboard or something. You could buzz him, or you could just go out. He's literally right on the other side of the door in the antechamber.
Well, the office is big. That's at least 10 steps.
Listen, sometimes you got to get your steps in. You can't always be sitting on your laurels, physically or, metaphorically.
I exit the door and I gesture at the Seneschal. When he's close, I ask, Seneschal, did my mother meet with any sort of seer or teller of portents in her last days?
None that I am aware of, but it would not be unusual for your mother to have met with such, my lord.
Did she have a favorite?
Perhaps, back on Regius.
Interesting. Then I turn to the assembled advisors and I say, come, let us find out what this inheritance of my great-grandfather is.
And that is
Jawohl,
where
my Lord Captain.
that is where I believe we shall end it for the evening, considering what time it is. And when we return at our next session, hopefully next week? Question mark? Is it next week? Question mark?
I'm fine with
I
that.
should be fine for that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When we return next week, we will find out more about Orbest Dre and this thing that he has for the Lord Captain.
Orvis.
Orbist. The Orbiest of Orbists.
He's the Orbist man.
Yes, the Orbist man.
He's so spherical.
All right. Experience points.
Yay!
200 experience points per session. I will grant an additional 50 for shits and giggles reasons. So 250 experience points. Throw them on your character sheet. Spend them as you like. As a reminder, spending experience points is how you level up. And based on the career path or whatever exactly it was called in this game, you have a very specific list from which to draw. And once you spend, I believe, 2,000 experience points on top of what you already have, you will then make it to rank 2. I could be slightly off on my numbers, so bear with me.
I'm not used to this character sheet. Where does I see?
It's the bottom of the first page.
Yeah, bottom left of the first
I see it.
page.
Yep.
So mine, apparently I forgot to update it. That should be 5,000 spent, right?
Correct. At character creation, you should be at 5,000.
Okay, and 250 to spend. Okay. And I don't have to wait to level to spend this. It's only after I spent so much that I level, as I understand it.
Yes, that is correct.
All right.
Then I shouldn't be like my salamander, who spent absolutely no experience points throughout the entire campaign.
Except for the big final boss fights. You would not be the first person to have played a Warhammer 40k style game like this and not spent points until, oh shit, this is a big important fight. Maybe I should spend my points. And all of a sudden, they gain like 3 ranks. And somehow still get the shit kicked out of them, but they were definitely more likely to survive. All right. Feedback and outros. Starting, of course, with Rodance. What do you got for any feedback / outro-y stuff? Your character survived.
We literally walked across the station and kept him from getting his pockets picked.
This is true. There wasn't a whole lot like.
So sure.
Yeah. There
I
wasn't a
don't
whole
know,
lot.
man. That street rat could have been packing the debt charge. You don't know that.
Yeah, so I was sitting here and I've been looking at it. So when I go to roll my first Psyker Power, I'm rolling against a 64, and I could do it higher if I can actually make it a 69 if I do the invocation check first and pass it. Fun times. Yeah. So I'm gonna have that lovely discussion of, so, Lord Commander, do you know what a Psyker is?
Well, 1, Lord Captain, but I got
Lord
you.
Captain, yeah.
And then 2, I'm sure Borgulvio
the way the
will
book
say,
describes
what's a psyker?
the way the book describes astropath transcendence is they're basically the rogue trader's personal radio system.
Yeah.
To call for assistance in any way, shape, or form. So I expect I will be spending much time following him around places.
That would be the smart way, yeah. But again, each
I
rogue
don't
trader
think
does things differently.
so. We'll have to have that RP discussion at the beginning of next session because
Yeah.
she's gonna look at him going like, "You don't want telepathic link before we leave?"
Also, I am not your personal radio. I am your servant, yes, but I am not just a radio.
I mean, that'll be a separate discussion, but
Yeah.
I'm on a telepathic. Whoa. Radio.
Yeah. God.
Video killed the radio star.
Can you guys imagine the chatter we're gonna get from Rev's brain if we all linked
Oh,
him telepathically?
Jesus. No, please stop. That already gave me a fucking aneurysm.
Actually, it's a constant, nonstop feed of just hyperactive babbling that he's keeping to himself.
It's not. I bet it's not even that. It's squirrels just running in random directions constantly.
Except staticky.
Yes, very staticky chitters.
It's a running tally of all the attractive women he sees around him on one channel.
What was it? What did you put down for your motivation that first night?
Oh,
Loose morals, women, or something like that?
No. My motivate. Let's see. Sorry, my career path was getting fat stacks, and my motivation was loose women.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Renance?
I mean, this is 40K. He could probably just put a couple in his room and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, probably. Renance, you got anything else before we move on?
No, this is good to get us started, and it'll be fun to see how our characters work together.
Indeed. Now, had we started at something closer to our normal time, instead of some of the problems we ran into, i.e. my ridiculously long day at work, we probably had a little bit more as far as story revelations and whatnot. But here we are. Arturios? Feedback? Outro-y kind of comments? What you got for us, man?
Not much. I like it. I like to like. This is my second time playing second campaign playing anything 40K, and the system's still kind of clunky to me, and I'm still kind of like, what can I actually do? And it takes me a while to get into character. For a long time, it's just self-insert in what I would do. But
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do that.
That
We
makes
need to
sense.
see if we can get you a voice changer for
Please no.
It would be
Zoom.
funny, but again, I don't want you to feel like you have to. In fact, especially if I didn't know you were doing the voice change all of a sudden, and then hearing the robotic sound of an Explorator, I would just be like, what the fuck? And I'd just laugh my ass off and probably lose all train of thought. I mean, let's be honest. Me losing a train of thought is not terribly difficult.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Australia says
Yeah.
there's a program called Voice Mod.
Voice mod.
He's
I'm
already
fine.
writing it down.
I might. I don't know.
Listen,
Last time we
overthink
had a
it.
voice.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, last time we had a voice changer for a character in a game, everyone got immediately like, ugh.
Got weirded out.
Yeah.
I don't know how weirded out I can be by Microsoft Sam, so
Yeah, I mean, if it's just like, I am Icarus, pleased to meet you.
Well, because it was a voice filter, and so like none of his inflections changed, but his pitch did, and it just because we all knew him well, it just freaked us all out.
That is weird. Anything else?
No, that's it. I like it.
Alrighty.
I guess
Warner?
my only. Sorry, I guess you're going in order, aren't you?
I'm going in a different order because you are the titular character, so you go last.
Fine.
That may change though, depending on how long-winded you get. Warner, my friend, my arch militant from Germany. What do you got for outros and feedback and?
So I had fun. I am trying to bring some life and liveliness
And some levity.
to the situation, and some levity.
Yeah.
I do remember in previous 40K campaigns that I have done, some of the GMs felt it wise to hand out bonuses to things that were less important roles just because the base system is, no, you're all really about a 50% chance to die.
And that's a really
Um,
high number if you hit 50% on a skill roll.
Yeah. So I remember a GM handing out plus 50s, plus 40s with some regularity on stuff that was less important,
Yeah.
so that it drove home what was important when we weren't getting those bonuses.
Yeah.
As
a point of
there's
reference,
actually a chart for that. You're supposed to be using a modifier of the difficulty based on the situation.
Yeah, it's on the table. There's a couple of note cards that I put those on. It's in fact they're right next to the percentile roller. I was gonna say something else. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, as a case in reference, I had given you guys plus 20s for not quite shits and giggles reasons. As a point of reference, your standard combat roll is going to be a challenging difficulty, which is plus 0, before any other modifiers are added. Like the baseline is going to be plus 0. And then you start applying modifiers for a variety of things, like what kind of attack, the range, visibility, etc., etc. So that right there, very quickly, you start to see like, oh shit, I might need to use my brain before I just blast indiscriminately. I mean, you're an arch militant. You could blast indiscriminately and probably hit most things. But everybody else is going to have a problem.
I was just about to say,
because
I'm
the
gonna
plus
miss my
20 is
flamer.
routine.
The best time to shoot things is when they can't shoot back.
It's probably straight from the tactica period, or no, sorry. What's the guardsman book? I always forget.
Uplifting primer.
There you go.
There
you go.
I was gonna say it's the addendum to the uplifting primer, called The Art of Gunplay by Jun Fu.
Rodance, you were about to say something else, I think.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of other systems that use modifiers like that. Like Fate has the ladder difficulty, D&D does advantage, disadvantage in this 5th edition, and so on and so forth. So
Australia says,
a lot of.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You gotta have a lot of up-down modifiers to deal with.
Yeah. Australia says the best time to shoot things is when you're in orbit and they aren't.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agreed.
It's the only way to be sure.
That's what the smoke jaguars thought, and that didn't turn out so well.
Well, you know what? When you do it indiscriminately, that's the problem. You need to have a bit of accuracy and precision in your shooting.
What sort of accuracy does my bolt pistol have from orbital range?
Well, most likely the bolt will burn up in the atmosphere before it hits anybody.
That was the fun thing about flamers, that you make the DM roll.
Rev, I'm almost afraid to ask, but please give us some feedback and outro-y comments.
Well, one is more of a feedback for everyone else. I have a bad or good habit, depending on how you look at it, of interjecting things that pop into my head for other people's characters, and I intend those just as creative options. Does anybody like that? Want me to cut it out, leave their character to themselves?
I think
this
it'll
is
be
open
fun to
table.
play off of each other.
Yeah,
I come from a long tradition of same team, where we'll point something out to other characters and then say same team.
I mean, at the end of the day, how the table handles it is the big thing, right? So,
well, I did it a couple of times tonight, and I want to make sure that there was no, like, in the moment it may seem like a bad time to object, but I want to make sure, like, after the fact, that like everybody's cool with what they saw tonight for me as far as interjecting when it was their role play area.
Yeah, I've got no problems.
No, I just viewed it as you throwing more spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I do like how we
right?
call it out as above the table discussions when we talk out of character, though, so it's
it's
easier
obvious
for people to pick up on.
Yeah. Well, like the one time, like, and I'll do this too, just for clarity. Like when Rodan said something about, is it normal for body parts to fall? Whatever the hell if you replace all the body parts, eventually you become another person, or whatever exactly the question was. Like, was that in character or was that out of character? Like, I need to know, because that was kind of a funny statement out of character, but in character, it might have been funnier. I don't know.
It's funnier in character.
Yeah.
I definitely thought
because I was talking to the explorator.
Yeah, the one who has given up body parts to become better, faster, stronger,
Mhm.
Not quite $6 billion.
6 billion gold.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Rev, I think you were about to say something for a second there.
No, I just making sure I was okay with that, and then I was just gonna answer that. I thought her initial question was in character, and then the other things that we said about it were above table.
They might have been.
I will try and distinguish my in character by the accent and my out of character by normal talk.
But
don't be surprised if those things slip every so often.
same. I'll try to switch between. I know both my voices can be a little bit pompous, but I'll try to use the more pompous voice.
It's a scale of pomposity, not so much.
Right.
I will say this: I definitely meant to have, like, Thale was supposed to have like a almost a rich British aristocracy voice accent rather, but I can't pull it off and stay consistent with it. So
The
So anyway,
received pronunciation.
the other
yes,
thing that I'd like to
yes.
say, particularly about the game, is my character actually would have taken note that Reinhardt was trying to get his attention, so I might gesture him into my office before we leave. So that would probably be a good place to pick up next session. Is whatever Reinhardt wants to tell me, unless he says no, it can wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'll prep. Like, I already had like this episode more or less fully prepped for, and there was going to be a bit more than I had planned. But of course, with time constraints and wanting to get to this part and make sure we had a good chunk of it.
Well,
Although maybe I pulled a little early. I don't know. I guess maybe I am a smidge early, but
Well,
also used to
I
with
just want to make sure the
Alien
next
taking
session.
longer. So go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure the next session started off with me finding out what Reinhardt wanted, as opposed to us being back out in public.
Yeah, no. The next session will start more or less where we left off here. We'll probably recap, from tonight, and then basically start more or less right where we left off, because you called in the Seneschal. Or no, no, I take it back. You said let's go see what's his face and find out what he's all about, and I was like, well, that sounds like a great place to stop. So
Suddenly, next episode, I have a deep Southern twang, and I refer to him as the Seneschal.
the Seneschal.
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 Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I missed it. My bad.
Altrinos
Anybody-
is saying no, stop, please.
y'all.
Anybody else got any final last moment thoughts or what have you?
A friend is always welcome at the Shield,
Shut
no more.
the fuck up with that. Jesus Christ. Anybody else besides
I don't think I was the one who cussed first this time.
No, I definitely dropped it first because I've had a very
I think
shitty
I
day at
was
work.
yesterday.
You might have been. I don't remember now. You might have been.
Shall we retire for whiskey and cigars? Never doubt it.
Indeed. Well, that is it for us here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed the show, please consider the liking and the subscribing either here on twitch.tv or on YouTube at youtube.com/@Omar. Please also consider joining our Discord server. You can find the link for it in the description of this video below, or if you're watching live on Twitch. I think everybody that is live in Twitch, or at least the ones that have commented, all know this, but !Discord before I shut down the stream. That will get you the link to join the server. Also, please feel free to leave your comments on the YouTube video. I'll be sure to try. I will definitely try to answer them within a reasonable time frame. Give me a day or two at least. And there goes a million damn dice in the background. Right in the middle of my outro, you sons of bitches. Mostly
Yeah,
Rev.
I didn't do it.
Who did that?
That's probably Rev. At any rate, that is it for tonight. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grim, dark world. So make sure you're doing what you gotta do to take care of you and yours. As for me and mine, we are out of here. Have a good night. See you next time.
I'm waving at the screen even though you can't see me. Bye.
Yeah, I gotta get these guys to get webcams. Alright, I'm ending the stream.